I want to just demonstrate this. What I'm doing here is I'm transferring this earring onto paper, because the other one I had some illustrated path involved in this. In this one, I'm going to do it strictly by hand and do the whole thing by hand. And you can see the difference. Ooh, I gotta go a little stronger. Yeah. Okay, I can see it now. I'll save that tracing. It started as a rough, and I got it that way. And now I'm going to go to the number. When I'm looking for number 3, I can't find it. There it is. I got it here. I just sharpen my pencil. Ooh, that's number 1. Where's number 3? Number 3 here. Okay. Now, I'm going to very lightly go over this because I want to, just because I got to paint, and I don't want to make it very. Got to get back in the frame here. Like this. Just want to carry a little bit of detail so that I can, when I start to put the wash, I got to put the wash in next. And I want to keep the lines a little stronger so I can see them if I cover some of them up. This is a little flexible link. And I want to carry the theme of the stones up here into the earring here. I'm going to use the lilac again, the pencil that I use for the stone. I think at this point I can switch pencils and I'll go to the brush and take a little of my lilac that I had here and go to a piece of tracing paper, take my brush. I want to make this is Carandoche I'm using, which is very, very watery, because I want to do the stones with the lilac. Like that. Then I'm going to go to the gray. Using my silver tone, cover this with gray. You know, in some ways, computer's wonderful to get very, very sharp lines, but it's not as fast as doing it by hand. When you do it by hand, you know how to do it by hand. It's much, much better. And then I go with the gray, with the Payne's gray, the Carandoche. I'll go with the Carandoche. This dries pretty fast. And I want to get the shadow on this side. These are the scoops, the same little scoops you see here. You have the scoop here. On here, and then the same thing here. Those little accents here. On the top here, this little shiny spot. That part almost represents this, or a smaller version of this. Then I've got this part here that will come from here, coming up like this. Now we can take the wire, the little ring here. I'm going to bring the shadow down over here, the little beads, the wire here, and this side of this bevel, This bevel is similar to the bevel that's here in the center of the pendant. And then you have this. It is representing the two pieces, but without stones. These are just little tailored elements that'll come down. A little shadow here, 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 and here at the top. And then going down into the bottom here with a little fishtail. They call them fishtail prone, like that. Now we go back to the number 3 pencil. Now we can start making these darker. Oh, one other thing I want to do. I want to make the dark shadow inside of the lilac a little bit darker and bring that out a little bit. I want to put the facet in here so you can see the shape of the stone. Same thing here will be the marquee. It comes down, we'll have the little shadows in here as it goes around. When I bring with the pencil, it'll bring it out more. A little shadow deeper here at the top. Like that. Pen here. Now, with this, we go here. Like coming from the upper left. These little accents of shadow are just like the highlights when you're putting the light areas in. It brings out the detail in the opposite direction, the positive and negative. The little rings. I think I'll put another prong at the top here, prong at the bottom. Surround the stone with a little shadow. Bring it out the detail. Same thing here, here. Then top here of this section of these ribbing that comes down to the piece. Bring out the accent of that nice dark shadow and these splits that separate these elements a little bit. This. And then the outline of the stone. Okay. The cuts in the stone. Now, I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to stay in frame. So we have a tendency when I'm not used to the camera so much, and I have a tendency to just concentrate so much on my work, and I start drifting around. You know, so it's going to be very careful not to do that. Bring the detail there. Now back to the white. So when you get to doing the smaller areas, it's really important to have a good brush, because if you have a good brush, you can really control the little fine lines and everything. The one thing I do is I have the knowledge of what I have to do. And many times when you're younger, you're not sure of what you're doing. And but when you get older, even as you get older, that knowledge stays with you, and it's very interesting that even if you were to lose vision, you know where everything goes. But it can be a little frustrating if right now my eyes are behaving themselves, and I'm able to control, because you got to see the end of the brush. It's very important to see that end of that brush. If you can't see the end of the brush, you're going to mess up the design, and that's what I worry about at my age. But right now, my eyes are all right today. I'm able to see pretty good. There are those moments that I have that it's very difficult to see some of the things that I have to see. And I want to go to this number 1 here. I'm getting our picture here. I gotta be careful. Yeah. I want to make these darker here. It's amazing, this little pencil, how nice it makes things look when you start adding the dark shadow in the piece. And it brings everything out so nicely. The big difference from just a pencil drawing. It takes on a whole other personality when you do this. You add the color. Like that. So that makes a nice grouping. When you see the two together, if I can zoom out a little bit, right there, I guess you can see them both together. So that would make the pendant, the earring, and the necklace. What I want to try to do is I want to reduce the pendant in size. Right now it's measuring approximately 40 millimeter. So maybe I might do one at 30 and one at 20, just to see the difference in the piece when I do the final rendering, and we'll do the layouts to present to someone that might be interested in the piece. So that's the way it is at this point. Thank you.